Well, there's not much to talk about here. We're gonna take Heart of the Vault and hopefully be able to play it. I'm actually pretty happy usually forcing Praxis, and Heart of the Vault is definitely a reason to do that. Otherwise, in this, we've got a shiny Streetwise Informant. He's really good in Argenport. You can't block him. You put a weapon on him, and he's a pretty fast clock. We've also got Mortar, which is always a solid first pick, even though it's double color. I also like the banner here, and I will basically take any card with Warp that I can play, because I think Warp is that powerful. But this is an easy Heart of the Vault for us here. Alright, in this pack we've got Duelist Blade is really strong, but it's in two colors that don't share with Heart of the Vault at all, and it's going to be hard enough to cast Vault as is if we're just two color. So I think we're gonna stay on color here and take this Journeyman Armorer. It's possible, Hibernian Sentry is fine too. Auric Bully is also fine, but in this pack we can see that there are three uncommons and left, and so that means that the rare was taken. So this pack contains no signals for us other than the player took a rare. So we're gonna take this Journeyman Armor and be happy to stay in color. Alright, well here we can see that an uncommon and a common have been taken. So it looks like fire is getting cut in maybe time, which is not good for us, but Stone Scar Excavator is interesting. I think that it's a way to prevent flood in draft, or help mitigate it, but I don't know that I would play it ever, even though I'm known to play things that I should not. I think we're just going to take, honestly, this Dragon Breath here. I think it can be splashable off of a couple of strangers and a banner. So, yeah. Alright. So we've got there's been a common and uncommon in the rare taken. We've got a shiny Kopesh, which is really pretty. Look at that. But we've also got some playable primal low drops, grenade, which you don't typically want to play unless you're thinking about being in Stone Scar. We've also got the Shorthorn here, which is actually really good in Argenport, but I'm going to pick the Archaeologist because it keeps us in time and it helps us fix. Oh, this is an interesting pick. We've got a few playable cards here, like Trailblaze if we're in Skycrag or in Feln. Another Archaeologist, which is probably going to be the pick, although I'm tempted to take the banner. Sparkbot would also be a consideration, but I'm not a huge fan of it. And Clan Hero is great, but Heart of the Vault is strong enough that I don't want to be in Primal unless I really need removal for like a Dragon Breath or a Permafrost or something. So it's either between, it's one of these two. I'm going to go ahead and take the Archaeologist. Alright, now this is another interesting pick. We've got still some good Justice cards coming through. There's also a Time Weaver and a Familiar here. I'm really high on the Familiar these days. It's just Warp is just super strong, and it has flying, so you can get in for chip damage, and it ramps you. It's just an amazing card that goes way too late in my opinion. I do like Time Weaver, but by the time you play it on turn 5, there's not a lot left in their hand. So it has minimal sort of impact on the game. I once played a deck with 6 Time Weavers, and it was terrible. I mean, as expected. I knew that going in, but when you get past 6 Time Weavers, you take them, right? Alright, so this was an easy Familiar here. More signals that maybe Primal is open. Cloudsnake Breeder should not be going this late. It's one of the top Primal uncommons in the first pack of Omens. We've also got Blink Wolf, which I love Blinky, so Blink Wolf it is. I don't like any of these cards. But we're going to pick Grenade because it's removal, even though we have to sacrifice a unit. Again, Justice seems to be open. I don't like Sandglass Sentinel, but we do have 2 Archaeologists to sort of get us there, and it's pretty good at just locking down the board. It's either that or Young Gun. Which one is more likely to see play? Probably, I mean, Young Gun goes with our Grenade, I guess. Excuse me. But let's just take the Sentinel and see what happens. Alright, here we're going to take... Yeah, we're more likely to be primal than anything else, so we'll take the Cyclops. Weather the Storm, no one ever expects it, because no one plays it. So, I'm not saying this is good, I'm just saying your opponent isn't likely going to be thinking about it if you only have 1 power up and you're in primal. So, we'll put that in the sideboard. And Cerso's Meddling is totally playable. I don't understand the hate for it. It's not great. It's obviously a little overcosted and doesn't actually kill a unit. But there are some decks where you just need to make sure that you're not, you know, losing to their giant bomb. So it's perfectly fine in that regard. Excuse me. All right, here we go. We've got a few options. We've got Elysian Trailblazer, which top spell gets Echo. We've got a Furnace Mage, which kills an enemy attachment, which is probably going to be our pick. We've also got a Xenon Guardian, which is also a really solid 4-drop. I think here we're going to take the Furnace Mage. Alright. Well, an uncommon got taken out of this, so it was probably either a Shadow or a Fire card. We've also got Recurring Nightmare here, which is very strong, but we're not in either of those colors. And Angel's Mentor is just ridiculously strong. It gives every unit in your deck that costs 4 or more, +2/+2. And currently we've got 5 of those, so yeah. If I wasn't taking Angel's Mentor, I would probably be taking the Seek Power down here, or potentially the Lightning Strike, but most likely the Seek Power. Ooh. I guess not a lot of signaling this way. We've got the rare was taken and a common. So when you think about what commons would be taken over, say, the Rakano Outlaw, probably like a Finest Hour or a Rapid Shot. But yeah, we're happy to pick up this Rakano Outlaw here. So this is we're gonna take Amber Acolyte. This card has an incredibly high win rate in the Eternal Draft Project data, and it's because casting your cards is very important, and the way to do that is to have the correct influence. So this is a pretty easy Amber Acolyte. It's also gonna fix for our Dragon Breath if we decide to play it. It also just helps us hit all the influence requirements for our Heart of the Vault. So. Alright, Fevered Scout is really good, especially in like Skycrag. Literally any spell that's a fast spell can let you win combat when you have this. But we don't currently have very many fast spells, or any at all, actually. So I'm actually going to look to take the Sauropod Wrangler. It's actually really good with the Ageless Mentor. And also, we have a bunch of... or we will have a bunch of giant creatures, hopefully. So, also it's a 2-drop, so 2-drops are great. So we could take, I'd really like to take Flash Freeze. Flash Freeze is very good, but it was also a Legion banner. I'd probably rather have the banner before I take the Flash Freeze. So let's go ahead and pick up the banner here. Forsworn Stranger also has a very high win rate. It's one of the highest win rate uncommons. I don't know why exactly. I haven't like teased that out of the information yet. And Recogulator has a very strong common in the win rates as well, which is interesting. But I'm just gonna take the stranger here. We might pick up like a felon stranger or something like that that will make it like a three power 4/4 5/5. We've got refresh, which is very playable as a combat trick. We've also got a serpent trainer, hatchlings, and a synchronized strike. The question is, would I rather have a serpent trainer or a hatchling or a combat trick? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to fix our power. So let's just go ahead and take the strongest card and take the hatchling. None of these are playable, but we'll just take that for the shift stone. Not likely to take these. Here, we'll pick up the camel in case we open a Katra and decide to totally wreck our draft in the third pack. Daggers can be playable. Alright, well, there's not a lot for us in this pack at all. We've got probably the card we should take is this Thunderhoof Warrior. It's very solid as just a 4-drop. It works with the Ageless Mentor. However, we could also take this Shadowlands Bone Picker since we currently have 3 ways to fix for it. If we just play 1 Shadow Sigil. And I think that's got a higher upside than a replaceable 4-drop. So we're going to go ahead and pick this. Hopefully we can pick up some kind of fixing stranger for it. Alright, here we go. We've got another Thunderhoof Warrior, so not punished if we decide to take it. We've also got probably my favorite card in the format, which is Stone Shaker, which I know is terrible and is going to make you all think that I don't know what I'm doing, but this card is surprisingly powerful, especially if you have a deck full of cards that cost 5, 6, 7, even 8 power. It lets you get to them, and it dies, and it still has that mana ramping effect, unlike say a familiar or an Amber Acolyte, or not the Acolyte, but the 1-drop that gives you a bonus power. We also have Awakened Sentinel, which has Warp, which is also very powerful, and familiar. Like these, between these 3 right here and the Sentinel, they're all very, very good cards for us. I'm going to take the familiar. Alright, we're not seeing a lot of like the typical good time commons, like the 4-power 4/4, or like the snake, the 2-drop deadly snake. But we do have a Grant Ring, which is going to be very good here. It just lets you finish games. Giving everything on your team overwhelm is very powerful, especially if you've stalled out the board and you just have a bunch of giant units. So we're going to take Granite Ring. Let's see, what is our curve looking like? We need more 2-drops for sure. We only have 3 at the moment. We only have 1 5-drop, 1 4-drop. I'm okay with either of these, but I think that the deck favors going longer as opposed to being aggressive. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Time Weaver. I know I talked about it earlier about how it doesn't do a lot, but in a deck that wants to be defensive, it does have 4 toughness, which is much better at blocking than say this Audacious Bandit. Alright, this is an easy Archive Curator. This card is fantastic. It silences units, which is effectively like a kill spell for flyers. Anything with an activated ability that is problematic, it takes care of that. So, oh wow, so many good cards for us now. I think we need 2 drops more than we need this 4/4. So we're gonna pick up the Blink Wolf. The Skycrack Banner is also, I would love to have that as well, but we're pretty good on fixing. We I think we've got 4 ways to get primal, so let's just take the Blink Wolf. I don't foresee us really playing anything here. What can happen in Praxis is if you don't have a way to close the game out. Essentially, you don't have a big enough flyer, or you don't have enough removal to clear the way. Then you need something like Pack Hunt to just basically saw out the board. You play as many units as you can, warping a bunch in, and then you Pack Hunt to win the game and essentially wipe their board. So we're gonna take this. I don't know if we'll play it, but it's more likely to see play than anything else. And there's this. I'm telling you guys, Stone Shaker is good, and it still should not be going this late. We don't want another Granite Ring. I don't think. Icequake has a very high win rate in the data, but it only has 3 entries. And if we had seen this in pack 1, I would have taken it and tried to play it just to get another data point. But we're gonna go with Stone Shaker. I guess we are gonna play another Granite Ring. We're not gonna play 3 Granite Rings. I was happy to pick up this Dragon Breath. And we're not gonna play another Pack Hunt. But I mean, at that point, it sort of doesn't really matter. All right, for right here, I think the pick is between Elysian Stranger and Tower Top Patrol. Let's see, for flyers we have, probably not going to play the Sentinel at the moment. We got the Curator and the Hatchlings and 2 familiars. But we do need 2 drops still. I'd like to have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd like to have 5 or 6. So let's go ahead and take the Stranger. Find the Way is interesting. Decks with warp, with like mini warp creatures, benefit from thinning the deck quite a bit. Should also give us 4 ways to fix for Shadow, so we could play our where is it? Our Bone Picker down here. Yeah, I think we have enough ways to fix for Primal. Let's just take the Find the Way. Our colors do not seem to be open, but that we already have more playables than we need. I like Stone Scar Maul. It's got good. It's a good piece of removal. I'm happy to play it. Oni Ronin or Dormant Sentinel. Or Cobalt Acolyte. Acolyte on a Bone Picker seems pretty good. I said earlier that this deck is more focused on the long game than it is on being aggressive, and I need to stick with my guns there, even though we all know and love Oni Ronin. So then the choice is: do we want to play Cobalt Acolyte or Dormant Sentinel? I think we're gonna. We only have 1 6-drop. I think we take the Acolyte though. I think that we can pick up bigger units, although I might regret this. I think this is an easy Tower Top Patrol. There's a Flash Freeze. Let's go with another patrol. There we go. Although there is a sweet premium fevered scout there. What happened to this dude back here? It's also Alchemical Blast, which is perfectly playable. But we're gonna take this Sauropod. It's gonna go great. You're gonna go turn 2 Sauropod Wrangler, turn 3 Aelir's Mentor, turn 4 Twin Brood, live the dream. Ooh, this is an interesting pick. We are going to be splashing Shadow, and Warband Chieftain is fantastic. You know, you can trade for one of their big units, and then just throw 5 power over to one of your flyers. It's just really powerful. I think we might play it. It's another beefy top end card. We also have Magma Javelin, which is another good piece of removal. Dune Phantom, which will lock down the sky. We already picked up 2 Tower Top Patrols, so I'm less likely to take that now. And we've got Horned Vorlunk. But I think the upside is just high enough on Warband Chieftain that we play it. We're not playing any of these. Same here. We could play Decay. And a Daggers. Alright. Pretty happy with how this draft went. Alright. So what do we need to make some cuts. What are we going to cut? Let's get rid of our banner here just so we can see. Now, I like to play 15 power in my decks. I know, right? And the reason is Stone Shaker and Warp. Because every time you warp something in off the top of your deck, it's like drawing a card. And the more card draw you have, the less power you need. Now, that being said, I think that we're going to play 16 in this deck because we are splashing 2 colors. So we need to cut 3 things. We also are playing Find the Way, which I count as a power source. So maybe we could just play straight 15 power. I think we should probably go 16. So we're going to cut a grenade. I think it's fine to keep Forsworn Stranger because we're essentially a 4-color deck. So let's keep that. Let's cut the Decay. We already have a Furnace Mage, and if I'm going to play something that interacts with attachments, I'd rather play one that comes on a stick like Furnace Mage does. Maybe cut 1 Tower Top Patrol. Yeah, seems good. Alright, let's add our power. We're only going to play 1 of each of these. Alright, looks good. Alright, let's get to the games.